Hello, and thanks for spending a few minutes to hear about how comprehensive battery monitoring for remote telecom sites is not only available today, but also affordable. During the next several slides, we will take a look at the historic obstacles that have prevented remote site battery monitoring and how equipment and software advances have overcome them. We will take a look at what makes remote battery monitoring affordable in the next few slides. But it is important to recognize that when implemented, battery monitoring and the reporting it provides will enhance several areas of your operations. Suddenly, you can expect to save money on the front end, back end, and of course during the time the monitoring is deployed. In fact, battery monitoring and its positive impact on a carrier's overall reliability will complement overall customer satisfaction, which is perhaps the number one goal of any provider. So here's what is being stated in the news. There are at least two things to take away from this Reuters report about Superstorm Sandy. First, a glaring lack of preparedness was exposed due to such a huge failure of backup power. And two, the FCC took notice. Not noted here, but just as concerning, is the fact that customers had to notice as well. When 25% of cell sites are rendered inoperable on the Mid-Atlantic coast, and over 60% go down in the most populated areas, changes must be made. Here is something to consider. Are those sites any better prepared today if the same thing occurred? Batteries are an amazing invention that perform an extremely important task. But the thing is, they are not all alike, and they remain silent about their state of health, unless they are asked. Oh, and asking every once in a while is not a good solution because, just like us, their health can change in a matter of days. So what can be done? Monitor them every day and receive easily understood, meaningful, and actionable data, all at an affordable investment. Come on, I'll show you. But let's start with this fact. Affordable does not mean the cheapest you can find. Like every other product, if you look around, you can buy some cheap junk. One of the biggest problems facing your search for worthwhile battery monitoring just might be that so many vendors say they can give you that, or they will throw it in with the purchase of the other stuff you're buying from them. Stop. Just stop. If the solution does not meet IEEE recommended standards, nor measure critical components of battery state of health, eliminate that so-called solution and only consider solutions that do. Among the most critical measurements needed for state of health battery monitoring are voltage, temperature, and internal resistance. If the offer doesn't include internal resistance, sometimes presented as conductance, it is not worth considering. Says who? IEEE for one. So with that being said, let's take a look at some high-level graphs that display in simple terms the savings that can be enjoyed from comprehensive remote battery monitoring. Here's the caveat to these graphs. They are basic. Each carrier will have their own costs for maintenance and batteries. And each carrier will also have a slew of other cost considerations they can add to a real investment analysis. I'm one to believe that when we get to the point of an accurate analysis, these numbers look even better. The first graph shows how battery monitoring is cost-effective when compared directly to the existing cost of a site visit. If the batteries are already being monitored, the technician merely needs to visually inspect the battery string and conduct his or her other steps during a site visit. How much time will be saved by not manually touching and recording readings from 12 batteries? How many additional sites might they be able to visit in a day, a week, or a month? What if the technician already knew which batteries needed replacing before they arrived on site? Next, using the same high-level logic, if a site's batteries were still in a good state of health when the calendar replacement date hit, why change them out? If a carrier can extend the service life of its batteries, how much would that save just in battery costs? Extended service life, coupled with bolstered confidence they will work when needed. That makes for a pretty good scenario. Here is what happens when we combine the two graphs. Service visit savings and extended service life. You can see the savings on monitoring, which include the cost of the equipment, are amazingly good. Oh, and the key here is that the cost of the monitoring equipment and software must fit into the equation. It does. And remember, it meets IEEE recommended standards, and the technology has been proven for over 20 years. I'm not talking about being a guinea pig here. I'm talking about proven technology designed specifically for your applications and battery configurations, installed all over the globe with centralized control. And just to state it again, it costs less than what you're currently paying. Why battery DAC? We are the only monitoring solution that has solved for the missing pieces to the historic puzzle. Our technology is used all over the world. We have broken through the design and cost barriers with a robust yet easily installed and understood offering. We considered every objection to remote site monitoring, then created a solution to conquer each one of them. No other company offers what we do at the price we do. Here's the kicker. It's not enough to create affordable hardware for remote site monitoring. In order to complete the puzzle, the solution must include the ability to gather, analyze, and present the measured data in an actionable way for sites that number from 1 to 1 million. That's right, 1 to 1 million sites. Why am I so confident in clearly stating that need? Because we have also solved for that requirement. Battery DAC's My Battery platform was built from scratch precisely for the ability to manage any number of remote sites in a way that would make the viewable information timely, enormously helpful, easily understood, and actionable. Additionally, we are flexible with how it is housed and presented to the end user. Trending history, discharge capture, and formatted reporting will be at the fingertips of everyone with access to the secure information, anywhere, at any time. Prepare, predict, and prioritize with the utmost of ease. So what's my point? Well, not only is comprehensive 24/7 remote battery monitoring available, it is a best practice. A no-brainer, so to speak. The only limitations and perceived obstacles left reside with the adoption of a better option. I'm not minimalizing that point. It may take a while to turn the company ship. However, it is time to begin the process of investigation. We can start there. Based upon what you have seen, my hope is that you will want to learn more. You will want to ask questions, you will want to poke holes, and you will want to kick the tires. And you will want to tell us more about your needs and requirements. That is the next step, and we welcome it. So let's begin the process together. Reach out to us and let's set a time to talk. There's no risk. At the end of our discussion, you will have investigated the most current offerings for remote battery monitoring and can report back that you have done so. If we have set improper expectations, you will know that. If we are worth another discussion and a more formal approach, you will know that too. Either way, it will be worth your time and a good thing. Thank you for taking the time to view this quick overview of battery DAC monitoring solutions.